man. You the water warrior. I appreciate that. Let me tell you something. There are so many forgotten American heroes. And of course, I'm an American citizen. I'm an American citizen. And I would like these Americans to be recognized. There are so many forgotten American heroes. We'll have a new segment soon coming up called Forgotten American Heroes by General Mahayaman of the ISUPK. This is a forgotten American hero. His name is Nat Turner. We're going to read about him today. We're going to watch a video about Nat Turner right now. Do you have it?
Con, I don't want Con.
Please
History, Tom.
That's right, Laura and Steph. This is a story about one of humanity's basic yearnings, a passion to be free. That's why historians want to save what's left from this deadly uprising in Southampton County. It began with visions of battle, interpreted as a message from God, in a land where 2 out of 5 people were owned by someone else. Nat Turner and his fellow slaves had had enough.
Everyone's at a boiling point, and that boiling point begins here.
The self-proclaimed preacher and his followers made their mark in American history.
Nat Turner's Rebellion.
On the night of August 21st, 1831, Turner and his followers went on a killing spree against white slave owners.
Nat Turner killed children. Nat Turner killed women. Nat Turner was indiscriminate in a brutal way of trying to spread fear throughout the county.
But in Turner's mind, it was a fight for freedom, which is why historians in Southampton County are trying to preserve what's left of that August night.
This is the last place Nat Turner and his followers will kill slave owners.
The Rebecca Vaughn house now stands just outside Cortland. Vaughn was one of the last slave owners killed by Turner's men.
And so they rushed upstairs, and Will Francis was known as the executioner, cleft her in two with an axe.
It was the end of a 20-mile ride where 58 whites were murdered. Twice as many African Americans were later executed without trial. Turner himself would be hanged for starting the insurrection.
Nat Turner is my third-great-grandfather.
Bruce Turner grew up in these very hills and views what happened here as a battle for basic human rights.
Nat Turner saw it as something wrong. He decided to do something about it. It was horrific. It created a lot of pain for both sides, and he paid the price for it.
So did the Francis family, who lost 17 members that night in 1831.
It almost wiped us all out.
But Jeff Francis is rebuilding the house where another slave named Red saved his great-great-great-grandmother and his family tree.
Red came and grabbed Lavinia up and put her in this cubby hole, put a bunch of quilts and blankets and all in front of her, and the insurrectionists came up through the house, and they never found her. So that's what saved our entire family.
Jeff's brother Rick is a Southampton County Circuit Court clerk. He showed us the actual sword used by Turner during the rebellion. Francis says that Turner lit the fuse of revolution with a cosmic vision. But in the end,
they were driven by the desire to be free.
A desire that led to the ultimate price.
He managed to achieve freedom by dying here, because when he died, he was owned by no one. So in essence, Nat did die a free man.
Pause, Doctor. Stop it. This is a forgotten American hero, Nat Turner. And he deserves a monument. He deserves to be remembered. There are monuments in Washington, D.C. to heroes of the Revolutionary War, men like Thomas Jefferson, men like George Washington. Thomas Jefferson was a hero and a founding father of America, but Thomas Jefferson raped his slaves. He's a rapist, and he was a slave owner. George Washington is one of the greatest heroes of the Revolutionary War in America, but he owned slaves and was absolutely cruel to his slaves. America is able to forgive the failings of white men who fought for a greater cause for America. They're able to forgive the fact that Thomas Jefferson and George Washington and what's the man on the $20 bill? What's his name?
Andrew Jackson.
Andrew Jackson. They're able to forgive the fact that they were racist and they were cruel to slaves because they did something that was good for America. There's a man whose name is Nat Turner who killed women and children for the sake of freedom. And he deserves a monument. He deserves to be remembered. He deserves for you to make his failing small because he was a freedom fighter of his day. He fought for freedom. Did he kill women and children? Yes, he did. Should we forgive him the way we forgive Thomas Jefferson? Absolutely, we should. Nat Turner is a forgotten American hero. If you don't think that Nat Turner paid for what he did, do you know what happened after Nat Turner was caught? Do you have it, Aishar Yala?
Count out of one, count.
Let me tell you what happened. Nat Turner later on, Nat Turner was betrayed by a slave. A slave snitched and ratted on Nat Turner, and that's how Nat Turner was caught. And he was starving to death when they caught him. They caught him, and this is what happened to Nat Turner. Do you have it?
Count, sir.
Tell him.
This is from DeGruyter.com. This is a section entitled Eating Nat Turner from the book The Delectable Negro. Most people do not readily associate Nat Turner, the heroic figure and slave insurrectionist, with the themes of auto-cannibalism. In the 19th century, the white press throughout the country reported that Turner had sold his body for dissection and spent the money on ginger cakes. This was an erroneous assertion, as slaves did not own themselves and therefore had no agency to barter and trade in their own flesh. Basically, what happened is he was sold after his death by white people, sir.
Nat Turner was eaten. He was bought, his flesh and his fat was boiled down for candles and for cooking fat. And they ate his penis. They ate him. This, I know, sounds strange to you today, but it was common practice for slave revolts back then. There was a man, what's that gay man who was in the 60s, Aishar Yala, who was a famous poet?
James Baldwin.
James Baldwin. James Baldwin tells famous stories about how he would go into the South as a child and see black penises in the store windows of grocery stores and of pharmacies. And they would put the penises of black men who revolted against white slavery, and they would keep them in jars and put them in formaldehyde jars. And he would walk by a store and there would be a penis in the door, in the window. And he would see them because it was commonplace when a black man tried to revolt or when a slave revolt happened, they would eat the slave. They would eat him, which is why this book is called The Delectable Negro. The term delectable means delicious because they would eat him. Yes, Nat Turner killed women. He killed children. He killed as many slave masters as he could.
Damn right.
Because he wanted freedom. You should forgive that. You should forgive him. And I will forgive Thomas Jefferson and Andrew Jackson. And I'll forgive George Washington. And I'll go to Washington, D.C., and I'll see the monuments you made to slave masters like they were gods. Nat Turner deserves a monument. Nat Turner should be forgiven. He died starving, and then his slave masters ate his dead body. George Washington died on a bed made of feathers next to his grandchildren. Surely Nat Turner has paid for any indiscretions he made for the cause of freedom. Nat Turner is a forgotten American hero. With that, I want to clap it up. Give yourselves a hand. Take the water to Commanding General Yohanna, the water to Aishar Yala,